now I would like to invite the next presenter, Marc Rossi, the head of service of the ICT department of the European Parliament. And I would like to ask for the following speakers to limit strictly their time to 15 minutes in order to have 2 minutes at the end for questions and debate. Okay, please, Marc, go on.
Good morning. My name is, sorry, no, it's fine? Okay. Good morning, my name is Marc Rossi. I'm head of service in the European Parliament, IT Directorate, in charge of internet development, as well as what we call the knowledge management program, to which many projects are related. So my intention today was, we are already doing a lot of things regarding transparency, access to documents, and of course, we still have to do a lot. So my intention today was to present you what we are doing in the upstream of the publication of information regarding the legislative activity, and how everything that we do today will benefit tomorrow to the internet and web publication. So, oh, sorry, how does it work? Selection? Down, up? No, the mouse. Ah, the mouse, sorry.
Yes,
no.
The left button of the mouse. Yes.
Sorry, okay. So the 3 programs I will present you have been approved in the context of our ICT strategy 2009-2014. And they are under the responsibility of the Director General I'm representing today. The 3 programs are eParliament, Paperless and Knowledge Management. Those 3 programs aim, of course, to improve the legislative, parliamentary and document production, as well as their publication, search and dissemination. Of course, there is a mobility aspect which is considered in this context. First, eParliament. The program mandate is to improve as much as possible the legislative production of the European Parliament by offering a single access to XML documents and by producing XML documents and by facilitating the reuse of those documents in XML format for the translation, which is really important for the European Parliament, as well as the publication and dissemination. We try to reduce the cost of the life cycle of the document production, which is today disseminated in different services by offering a one and single access to a repository, what we call a production repository. For that, we have 4 technical objectives: is to improve the use of XML for the legislative production, having a single and central repository for the parliamentary text production, to set up digital signature and set up a pool of reusable function, because today we have many applications that are reintegrating always the same functionalities. So now we try to create a pool of reusable function. The current situation and weakness is we have at least 10 document repositories just for the production of documents. We have repetitive manual action in the process of document creation. We have an inefficient signature process which we still rely on paper. And we have IT systems that are developed in silo with the consequences are already expressed. So globally, we want to improve the production we will try to improve the production, the verification and the translation process of the legislative documents. We want to minimize as much as possible the input errors. We want to reduce the cost and as well the life cycle. For that project, we have different objectives. So a business XML, a unique repository, digital signature, pool of reusable function. We have different projects which have very specific name, AT4AM, AT4LEX, which are focused on each objective. We have DST for the verification, and we have CAT4TRAT for translation tool. In more detail, so we have we have to develop some foundation which are based on XML standard. We use the ACOMO and TOZO, in which now my colleague from the European Parliament start to be very involved. We want to develop different XML services for document model in XML. We have to develop a new repository, purely XML repository, and we have to develop and deploy the digital signature for our members. We have 4 generic applications that I have just shown you, which are AT4Lex, which will be the tool for purely the legislative text creation. We have AT4Lex. We have DST, which will be a draft, which will help drafting support, a tool for the text verification. We have, during the process of the legislative procedure, we have a process of verification that involves many people to be sure that those texts are coherent with the European legislation. It's a very complex process, which will now be fully integrated in this creation process. And we have also tools for computer-aided tool for translation services, which are today working separately. They will be integrated in one single and global environment. So the first application alignment is AT4AM, which is an authoring tool which has been developed for members to create their amendments. To create amendments. AT4AM, since we launched this project, we have reached now more than 100,000 amendments that has been created by the pilot project. It's involved several maps, assistants, political groups, committee secretariat, and some application administrators. And my colleague received an excellent feedback from this tool, which has really helped them to improve the production of their amendments. So the next program is Paperless. Paperless is fully part of a global program that we call e-committee. E-committee intends to offer to the members, to each committee, a unique space where they can share an intranet space where they can share all the information related to the members as well as to their activity. This e-committee project will propose already new infrastructure for the members to have access to all the information they need in the context of the work they have in the committee, in their committees. Those infrastructure that has been developed and are now available allow to develop a tablet, a mobile application, which is currently a project running on iPad, but we have the intention to go to any device because this is part of our strategy. And this tablet allows our members today to go inside any meetings to which they have to participate and to access to all the documents that they need to discuss during that meeting. They are allowed to select, of course, to annotate the text. They are allowed to send information to any people, to extract information and send them to any people they would like to do. So there are lots of interaction, and any change can be saved and shared with the team. Normally we should have a small demo, but I hope I will go very fast. No, it doesn't work here, sorry. There is a restriction. I'm sorry. So it was the demonstration was just showing you this different step. When you arrive in the meeting, or you select the meeting where you are, which documents are accessible, or you can open the documents, or you can annotate the documents, or you can share a piece of this document, or you can, of course, send it to anyone. So this is the global roadmap. So in terms of objective of this e-committee paperless project, we intend to, of course, enabling mobility for the members who will be able to come with any tablets in their meetings. We want to reduce the use of paper drastically, because we are using, of course, too much paper as many of the institutions. We want to improve efficiency, and we want to increase the productivity. We want to enhance information sharing, and we want to limit the stress related to the printing, because you have to imagine that we have to print documents in different languages for many, many committees every day, which represent a lot of work for services, and as well a lot of paper distribution in different chambers and things like that. The legislative knowledge management. Typically, an EP worker considers a considerable amount of information in his daily work. So you have here a set of websites that exist inside and outside the European Parliament, and that concern legislative information that he usually consults when he has to work. An EP worker, so he spends a lot of time. Typically, we know that EP workers are spending a lot of time searching information which is disseminated in different websites. And it's really critical for new members when they arrive in the European Parliament, specifically when they arrive in the European Parliament. So they share information in meetings, coffee, phones, emails, and so our objective was to help them to try to rationalize all the information they have by offering them a new system that will help them to search information, organize their work, organize their content, and of course organize their community. We want to make them as much as possible independent from the IT system and IT staff. For that purpose, we have developed a new concept, which is the KM portal, which is largely inspired by, for those who knows, iGoogle or NetVibe. So the idea is to help anyone which is an actor of the European Parliament to easily integrate their favorite sources in one big dashboard that he will be able to organize himself. For that purpose, sources will be integrated using the first feature that are now displayed. This doesn't close, of course, other opportunity for integrating content. And all those functions will allow members to integrate as well internal sources, but also external sources that they are commonly used in their daily work. For that purpose, they will be able to subscribe to feed, they will be able to subscribe to relevant sources proposed by the governance board, they will be able to automatically to save search and to subscribe to results of their search as well. So at any moment when they will open their dashboard, they will have in one glance all the information they usually need. This information is not only extracted from website. You can imagine that normally we also intend to offer them information coming from their private area. So a single access to multiple sources. Today, what's happened when we propose services to members, they have to go in different websites to access this information, and they have to aggregate themselves the result of the research. What we propose them is using to create an aggregation of content that will make all those sources, all those databases totally transparent to the members. So using a single access, it will just decide what it's looking for, and then we will retrieve information from several databases. The idea is also to offer the opportunity to better understand the result by structuring as much as possible the information to be as much as possible relevant, of course. This is purely an example. We are continuing to work on different possibilities that will make information much more understandable for people. So on one glance, people searching for information on one glance, it will identify the context, the plenary context, the media context. We'll have some explicative contents as well as legislative context, as well as multimedia context. So this doesn't, and with the aggregation of content, for example, from this member, which is Lara Comey, the user will be able to move from to automatically move to information related to that members, and from that members, of course, access to other information to which that members has contributed. So there will be a big ring of where people, user will be able to navigate inside the information system of the European Parliament. Thank you. So another project which is related to that program is the SharePoint pilot project. The SharePoint pilot project intends to improve the collaboration inside the European Parliament and to make members and their assistants as much as possible independent from the IT. So that means that our objective is to make, using SharePoint, to have a natural extension of the current desktop, which is a Microsoft desktop, and to allow them to share without having to consult IT department, to share information with anyone they want, to create their own repository and to give access to information to anyone they consider part of this circle. So we have 4 major objectives for the future: an integrated search, an aggregation of information, a collaborative workspace, and one portal to access all this information. This will be translated in different projects that are published here: the dashboard, the aggregation, and access to private area using SharePoint and interacting with SharePoint. The target group, the current target groups are member, assistant, political group, and EP staff. And the target and the objective now is purely legislative. We don't intend for the moment to open the service to administrative information. That could be the future because in any case there are some interaction between. So this is our roadmap. So this program is, those 3 programs are fully supported by the highest level of the European Parliament. And of course this make a lot of pressure on us and on my colleague that I would like to thank because they participate in the preparation. Other program manager, Olivier Leboeuf, Dean Wadi, and myself, of course, for knowledge management. It's not easy to summarize so big work that we are performing right in 15 minutes, right?
Yes, 15 minutes.
That's really impressive to be in front of you, in fact. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Marc. It's really an impressive programs. They are programs, a set of related projects, as a matter of fact. There are questions to Marc. Yes, please, Jean-Pierre. Jean-Pierre Guglielmi from the Council of Europe.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I have a rather technical question. You explained you are moving to a standard for your XML documents called Comentoso. How is it possible technically to move from one standard, having a schema and DTD for your already existing documents, to a new standard? Do you abandon the old one? Do you move entirely to this?
Well, currently what's happened today is that we receive documents from the Commission, okay? And this document is a draft for us, for the European Parliament to prepare the bills. So right now we are converting those documents in an XML format to be able to members to use AT4RM to produce their amendments. And afterwards, unfortunately, we have to return back to the standard format, which is currently Word, to allow the whole process, which continue using that format. So we in fact, with AT4lex, they will erase everything that exists today. And so they will restart from the beginning. But technically, I can't exactly answer the question, but I can note it and I could put you in contact with my colleague. You have the name of Olivier Leboeuf for eParliament. So in any case, they know that their name will be published and that they can receive our questions. But purely like that, I can't answer. But this team is really involved now in Comentoso. Joao.
Thank you for the answer, Marc. May I suggest putting your question, just 1 second, your question in the LinkedIn discussion group, and so that everybody could participate and be aware of the answer and participate in the discussion. Are there any other questions? Yes, please.
Okay, Robin Treistman from the Israeli Parliament, the Knesset. I was wondering, we are also moving towards, our new website will be based on SharePoint, and I was wondering if you found that SharePoint was sufficient, or first question, are you using SharePoint for that dashboard? Will you be?
So, as it is mentioned, maybe I was not clear enough, SharePoint is currently a pilot project. We intend to use it out of the box just for collaborative aspect for the moment. We don't intend to use it for development website. My colleague from communication will present you the website tomorrow, the internet website. We use Java J2E technologies for that website. And we don't intend to develop using SharePoint for the moment. It's purely collaborative because it's a natural extension from the desktop, the current desktop, which is a Word desktop. But we don't intend to develop website with that. Now, if SharePoint is approved, and if we deploy it, what will be the future? I don't know. Personally, I prefer J2E for internet.
Intranet. But what you're saying, again, the dashboard?
The dashboard, yes, sorry. The dashboard will be J2E as well. And we will interact between SharePoint and the dashboard using API. Why? Because the objective of the integrated search is very important because everything that we're doing for aggregation will be moved in the future for the citizen on the internet. Everything that we do in that context will be reused in the context of the internet. So SharePoint being a pilot project, it was impossible for us to take the risk of having, for example, a failure with SharePoint and to have the whole project inside SharePoint while we need to keep everything we do in the context of aggregation for the future on internet. So that's why we have separate both. And we have lots of experience in J2E, Java J2E developments, but SharePoint is quite new for us.
Okay.
So we didn't want to take the risk. But there are lots of pressure for SharePoint. Many users ask for it.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Marc. Please, João, present yourself.
My name is João Abreu, staff of the United Nations, and I would like to complete the answer regarding a common torso, because a common torso is an XML schema supported by the United Nations, and in fact the main difference between a common torso and a normal XML model or XML standard is that a common torso is just shaped with whole schema and all its principles just supporting parliamentary documents. Since a common torso has been developed within a project in UN that has a proper editor that creates the XML code for all documents, and all structures used in the parliamentary documents are exactly translated from a standard XML to a common torso XML. Of course, with added value in what concerns parliamentary experience in managing parliamentary documents in a closed cycle. I don't know whether I could answer to the colleague from the Council of Europe.
I couldn't do better.
Please, Giampiero, if you want to add something.
Okay, now, thanks. No, I agree with the interest of common torso, of course, as a standard. I just wonder, when you have already your XML dialects, so your name of elements and the structure, if you want to use a new standard, you must transform what you have into new standards, or at least have a mechanism of XSLT transformation to set up new documents in that standard. So it's just how to organize it. just a practical matter. Okay, but we maybe discussed that on LinkedIn and okay, of course, during this seminar in True Voice.
Yes,
thanks.
But being a very important subject, I suggest using the LinkedIn discussion groups in order to everybody to participate in the discussion. So we have to move on because thank you very much, Marc.